I'm going to start out by making a White Russian, a Turkish White Russian. We're using our Turkish coffee liqueur, which is a very strong coffee flavored liqueur with cardamom and cinnamon. We use a fresh roasted coffee for that one. And our vodka, which is made from 100% organic corn. So Turkish coffee liqueur, like I said, uses fresh roasted coffee. We worked with a coffee roaster here in Corvallis. So it's basically equal parts of the two. Splash together in a mixer. I like mine nice and frothy, so I do like to do it in a mixer. You can do it just in a glass with rocks. Pour in some milk, shake, shake, shake. And again, you can pour it over rocks, or you can do a little bit more festive in a martini type glass. And there is the Turkish coffee liqueur White Russian. Which is the best White Russian you'll have tasted. That's good. So we start off with the vodka here. We make using organic corn, 100% organic corn. We filter it at least 10 times with 3 different filter mediums. So we're shooting for a sipping smooth vodka. We feel for all of our spirits, if you can create it, or if you could sip it just by itself, then it makes just a good basis for a cocktail after that. You don't need to bury it in a bunch of juice. So sipping smooth, organic corn vodka. Has a great mouthfeel. We intentionally left just a hint, just barely a touch of the character of the corn in there, which is contrary to the definition of vodka, which is to be completely flavorless, odorless, colorless. We wanted to leave a little bit of mouthfeel in there, so you have something to enjoy when you're sipping it by itself. Then we go to the 2 gins. We have 2 types of gin, the Banker's Gin and the Native Gin. The Banker's Gin is our take on the classic London dry style gin, so it's a very crisp, citrusy, I like to say the sort of gin we all grew up with kind of gin. I didn't go for any bells or whistles with this one. It was very straightforward, very easy to design. It was pretty, much easier on the R&D side of things. The Native Gin, this one has all the bells and whistles. This one we had a lot of fun with. The concept of this one was more to look at botanicals that grow native to the area. So there are 17 herbs and botanicals in here, most of which, like I said, are native to Oregon or the Pacific Northwest. It's a lot, as a gin goes, it's a lot more floral, a lot more herbal than most gins. Again, both of these are great by themselves and of course make good mixers. We've had people ask which makes the better martini, and then we've also had people argue over which makes a better martini. You can go with this one making a better martini because it has so much more going on in there, so many more sort of layers of flavors and textures in here. So the more you sip it, the more things open up and express themselves. And then other people argue this makes a better martini because it is more of the classic London dry style gin, a very crisp, citrusy, classic gin. So those are the 2 gins we have. The next one we came out with was the Turkish coffee liqueur. Again, we will start with a fresh roasted coffee that you get from a local coffee roaster here in town. We grind it up with cardamom and cinnamon and sweeten the whole thing with raw sugar. So it's a very coffee forward with those classic Turkish coffee spices, the cardamom and cinnamon, and sweetened with the raw sugar. So the intent here is to, as you're sipping it, to get the coffee and then the spices and then the sugar, which is sort of contrary to a lot of the coffee liqueurs we tasted. Tend to be very, very sweet, and then a little bit of coffee aftertaste. So that's our Turkish coffee liqueur. And the last one here, the rum, we call this the traditional rum. We did a lot of research when creating this rum and used a lot of processes that are done in a lot of the old traditional rum houses. That includes a slower stepwise fermentation process, a different distillation process, aging in barrels for over a year. We use what's called a dunder pit. So the traditional rum is one of my, I hate to say I have a favorite because these are all my children, but this one I'm most proud of.